This GameCube cable is worth an absolute mint. And in today's episode, amongst lots of other amazing GameCube related things, I'm going to tell you what's so special about this cable because you might be sitting on one if you are very, very lucky. Welcome to the episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at my personal collection and deep diving into some of the cheapest GameCube games in 2023. That will segue us on nicely to looking at some of the more expensive titles, and I'm going to conclude as to whether or not it's worth collecting for the GameCube in 2023. The obvious answer here is, of course, yes, but the bigger answer is why. So let's dive into it. Does this mean that I'm excited for Spider-Man 2 on the upcoming PlayStation 5 release? Absolutely. Anyway, we're rewinding a significant amount of years. We're in the early 2000s now, and we have some Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube, and I remember being totally mesmerised at the feeling and freedom of playing this game. And when I first played Spider-Man on the PS4 many years ago, it took me back to the days of the GameCube, donning myself at university and just enjoying swinging through the streets of Manhattan, or so I wished. Now, arguably, I'm cheating a little bit here because this game is actually available on pretty much every other console that existed at that time. But this is a GameCube video, and if you want to bolster your GameCube collection, I suggest you dive into a little bit of Spider-Man 2 at the measly sum of £6 from CEX.
Get rid of them and get that case! Ooh. This may sting a little. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Turok Evolution will also cost you £6, and for me this looks like the Far Cry Primal of the time. Evolution sees us meander through 15 levels of prehistoric craziness with different weapons, different challenges, and actually really nice areas that look really gorgeous with some beautiful lighting. Now, if you want to buy it, it'll cost you £6 on the GameCube, but alas, on the PS2 and the original Xbox, you'll only pay £1.50 from CEX. I'm not quite sure why there's a difference in price there, but there is. So if you're going to make your choice, you can go for the cheaper option, or if you want to bolster that GameCube collection, baby, dip in for 6 sheets and get yourselves across to CEX. Or, let me just stop you there, you can go to your local retro game shop. I had a quick peruse on Doorway to Darkness's website, and you can buy this for a penny cheaper at £5.99, so be sure to check your local retro game shops before you go to the high street stores such as CEX. Now, this is a GameCube exclusive. This is 1080 Avalanche, and this looks absolutely gorgeous, albeit it is one of the more expensive games within this cheap bracket of GameCube games in this episode. Fun fact as well, Shigeru Miyamoto was one of the producers on this, so you can expect lots of quality here. 1080 Avalanche doesn't really reinvent the board. See what I did there? Anyway, you can expect different modes ranging from time trial to a match mode and trick attack. It is a follow-on within the 1080 series from the Nintendo 64 version of 1080 Snowboarding. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This is definitely a series that I'd like to see Nintendo give some more love in the future, as well as F-Zero. Okay, I know we've had F-Zero 99, but I want a new F-Zero game too, please Nintendo. Grab your sun cream and let's hit the sand because Beach Spikers is next. And here is another fun fact for you. Yu Suzuki was a producer on this. Yu Suzuki, of course, the famed creator of the Shenmue series. So again, you can expect some quality here. Okay, it's not on the same lines as Shenmue, but this is a volleyball game that has 2 modes, and you have to play against AI or you can play against other players. So a little bit of couch co-op involved here. This is a really fun game and one that often gets overlooked, and I'm fortunate enough to have a Japanese copy as well as my standard PAL copy. This also came out in the arcades, but It's a console exclusive, if I can talk, for the GameCube. If you like the Splinter Cell series, you'll definitely enjoy Rogue Ops. Rogue Ops being the cheapest game that I'm featuring today, rolling in at £1, one greasy pound. You've got some third-person stealth action shooter, crazy, awesome fun here. And as a huge fan of the Splinter Cell series, I can honestly say that I highly recommend you get this game and play through it in its entirety. I adored this when it came out. I had to save for quite a few weeks. My disposable income wasn't as high back then to actually buy this game, and when I did, I was absolutely hooked. Having come off the back of Metal Gear as well, I was really into learning about stealth mechanics, and although it's not my preferred style of play now, I do enjoy dipping into a nice stealth action game, and I think this is one that you definitely need to get in 2023 for your GameCube, not the PS2, the GameCube. So there are indeed many GameCube games that are super cheap, and I think that really does make the GameCube a nice entry point, as well as other consoles of course, to get into in 2023. I obviously missed out the classic sport titles, of which there are many: NHL, soccer, FIFA, whatever it is you want to call it. There's absolutely loads of very cheap GameCube games in the likes of CEX and your retro game shops for you to go and dive into. I'm not really fussed about sport games as such. It takes a lot for me to want to buy the likes of a FIFA game, for example, but some of you out there might be hot into the sport titles, so you know, I'll leave that one there for you. But we did include Beach Spikers, which is a really nice game. You don't really see many volleyball games out there, so you need to be getting that one on your Nintendo GameCubes. Now then, here are some of the more expensive titles. I could go on and on and on with this, but I was very surprised when I went through CEX's website and saw lots and lots of things, including the cable. It's no secret that retro games can cost hundreds, if not thousands per individual game. Gadget Race is there for £550, a game that you might never even think to play, yet will cost you over £1,000 if you buy it from CEX. But there are some more introductory games that you might want to add, including these. Yes, another one of those non-traditional Super Mario games that were made by a completely different company that you've never even heard of. This is not my kind of game, I admit. It's an RPG with not quite RPG elements in this weird 2 to 2.5D. Anyway, this is £110 if you buy it from CEX, but we have here Zelda 4 Swords, which is the much more classic Link to the Past-esque top-down gorgeousness, rocking in at £100 complete. You need to make sure you also have the cable, so you need to make sure if and when you buy this that you are getting the complete version. I very much like this game. I love the pixel art, I love the Super Nintendo vibes, and I'm a proud owner of this in my personal collection, which you will see later in the video. And then of course we have the regurgitated Metal Gear Solid. This is Twin Snakes on the GameCube, bolstering slightly better graphics, slightly better sound, and it's just fun to play. Going back through this is an absolute pleasure, and I actually forgot how difficult this flipping game is, including getting to, I forgot the guy's name, oh my god, how could I forget the boss's name? Anyway, you have to swap the controller to controller port 2 so he can't read your mind. Psycho Mantis, there you go. But anyway, there are some nice games that, you know, don't really cost the world, £100. But if we carry on looking through CEX's website, I came across this absolute monster here, an official component cable for £185. You what? Hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of games. But why is the Nintendo GameCube component cable, which is an official cable, so expensive? So off I went to Reddit to find my answer, and there were a few things that came up. It turns out these cables were pretty rare. They were mail order only. You could only get them online, and not many people purchase them. And if you look on the back of the GameCube, they go here in the digital AV out, whereas you'd normally use the analog AV out. So I never actually realised that. But again, I think it's really, really cool to note, and you need to go and check your GameCubes because you might have one of these lurking. I honestly thought it was a little bit of a joke when I was like, is this a CEX rip-off, one of those ridiculous things where CEX have got it horribly wrong? No, they've got it pretty bang on. Actually, that's quite cheap compared to what I found over the internet. So, unfortunately, I don't have one in my collection, but you might have been the lucky one that's picked up a second-hand GameCube, and you might have one in your collections. If you do, you're sitting on a good couple of £100 there. I also think that it's really cool that it was mail order only, and that's what made it one of the most rarest cables that Nintendo have ever made. What about this cool item? We've got the chainsaw controller for Resident Evil 4. This is incredibly expensive. It was released on the PS2 and the GameCube. I'll be honest with you, mine sits on the shelves behind me. It's really, really difficult to hold. It's not comfortable at all, and it doesn't make for a very nice gameplay experience. However, we know that they are very, very obscure, and I think that they're only going to go up in price. So make sure you save yourselves a couple of £100 and try to invest in one now. But if you don't want to go for the GameCube, you've also got that option of getting this controller for your PlayStation 2s as well. Now here is my GameCube collection. Happy to have a nice variety of the big hitters, as well as some of the really nice cheap titles, as well as my Japanese collection of GameCube games, because I do have a Japanese region-free, nice gorgeous spice orange GameCube with the Pico-Bot mod in as well. I don't actually use anything other than for it to be like a region-free GameCube. I don't have any chipped games for my GameCube whatsoever. I'm not a huge fan of emulation. I do think, especially if you're going to go for the Japanese stuff, it's really, really cheap to collect Japanese GameCube games, especially if you're buying from Japan. You know, maybe you import them. But even if you go on a retro game hunt, and I've done plenty, hundreds and hundreds right here on the channel, I do find them much cheaper. And of course, playing things like Super Mario Kart or other Double Dash, you don't necessarily need to know Japanese to be able to understand what's going on in the game. So I really do like that kind of little caveat of Japanese GameCube games. Not only is the box art better, but you can get some nice GameCube games that don't require you to know Japanese. So we got cheap games, we got expensive games, we got expensive cables. Go and check your GameCube and let me know if you find one of those cables in your collections. I would appreciate it if at this very point in the video you guys could leave a like and hit that subscribe button for me. I just want to personally thank you for the massive support I've had on the channel over the past few weeks. It's been incredible. So thank you so, so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.